All right, so we're just looking at circle analytical geometry here. So if you have got a circle, I'm just going to do it up here, okay, and our center is at the origin. Okay, so the center is in the middle here at the origin. Okay, and the radius is equal to r. Okay, then we've got an infinite number of points, okay, that on the circumference. Okay, so x and y is any point on the circumference, r is your radius. So every single point on the circumference of the circle, if you then went and took this point x over y here, any point that you took, that distance there is y, that distance there is x. So in all of those cases, no matter where you worked, if you did there and there, because when you square things become, if that's x, y, and that's r, then r, the radius squared, okay, because of Pythagoras, will always be equal to x squared plus y squared. Okay, so that's where we get, so every point on the circumference of a circle, center origin, okay, meets those conditions over here. So for question A over here, it says, find the equation of the circle with center at the origin and radius 5. So for A, we have a circle, its center is at the origin, and the radius is equal to 5. Okay, so every single point, you could take infinite number of points, and for all of them, okay, x squared plus y squared would be equal to r squared. So your general formula, so the first thing you can always do when you're asked to find an equation is write down the general formula, which is x squared plus y squared is r squared. Your objective when you're finding, if you're finding a straight line, y is equal to mx plus c, you want to find m and c. Y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, you want to find a, b, and c. So you want to find your constants. So in this case, you want to find a value for r squared, but we know the radius is 5. So the equation is going to be x squared plus y squared is equal to 5 squared, which is simply equal to 25. Okay, so that's A done. Okay, so B, you've got a circle, it centers at the origin, and it's passing through the point negative 2, 4. So it goes through this point negative 2, 4 over here. Okay, what a bad circle. Okay, the center is at the origin, apologies for that. Okay, and it goes through negative 2, 4. So it's a circle that looks something like that. Negative 2, 4, there's your radius. Okay, so we know the general formula for the equation center origin is x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Okay, but if a point lies on the graph, we can sub it into the equation. So if I sub in negative 2, 4, I get negative 2 squared plus 4 squared is equal to r squared, which is 20 is equal to r squared. So the equation is replace r squared. So you just want to replace r squared with a number. Is x squared plus y squared is equal to 20. Right, now, if we have a circle, okay, where the center is not at the origin, okay, in other words, we have a situation, and the notation we're going to use is this. Okay, the center of the circle, we're going to always give the coordinates A, B. So say I have a circle, the center is at A and B. We often call the center of a circle not at the origin M for some reason. Okay, so here's your center, okay, and you have a circle going around that. Okay, the x coordinate of the center is called A, and the y coordinate of the center is called B. X and y, remember there's a unique value for A and B, okay, but they're an infinite number, there's your radius of r, okay, of x and y points, just like on normal functions. Circles are no different. Okay, so you've got the center, the x coordinate of the center is called A, the y coordinate of the center is called B, x and y are any point on the circumference of the circle. Now this general formula is given to you on your information sheet. So if you ask to find the equation of a circle where the center is not at the origin, okay, you're going to write down the general formula first. X minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. And your objective is you want to find a number for a and for b and for r. Once you've got that, you've got your equation of your circle. So what do a and b stand for? A and b stand for the center of the circle. So in this case, a and b are -1 and 3. You've got a circle with the center at -1, 3. Okay, and you're also told that the radius is equal to 2 root 3. So you've got some circle, -1, 3, and the radius is equal to 2 root 3. So, you know the center is -1, 3, so that's A and that's B. Okay, so we can sub those in. We also know R is 2 root 3. So the equation is simply going to be x minus a squared, so it's x minus minus 1, which becomes x plus 1 squared, plus y minus 3 squared, okay, is equal to 2 root 3 all squared. And if we times that out, you get x plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 2 squared, which is 4 times 3, which is 12. So that is the equation. You leave it in that format, you don't go times it out. So that will be the equation of the circle, center -1, 3, and radius 2 root 3. Okay, right, that's the end of that page. Right, on page 2, okay, the question says, find the equation of the circle, center m -2, 2, and passing through the point -4, -1. Okay, so you asked to find, so I would straight away go to your circle, call this point A, call that point B, okay, and this is our point XY, one of the points on the circumference of the circle. So to find the equation of the circle, you're going to go x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. Now you know a is -2 and you know b is 2. So it's going to be x minus -2, which becomes x plus 2 squared, plus y minus 2 squared is equal to your radius squared. Okay, but we don't know the radius this time, so we can't just go sub that in. Okay, so I would always do a and b first. I wouldn't sub in everything at once. So I'm up to there. So my objective that I've still got to do is find r. But you're not given r. But you are given a point on the circumference of the circle. Okay, so you can go sub in. Okay, x is -4, y is equal to, so you can replace x with -4 and y with -1. And then we can solve for r. So x is -4, so you're going to get -4 plus 2 squared plus y is equal to -1. So plus -1 minus 2 squared is equal to r squared. So I get 4 plus 9 is equal to 13. So 13 is equal to r squared. So I get x plus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equal to 13. Okay, and there we have the equation of your circle. Right. Okay, the next question says find the equation of circles given diameters. Now the key idea which I want you to make a note of, okay, is that if you have any circle in the world, okay, and you have the end points of a diameter, so you have, doesn't matter where the center is, so you have some circle, goes through the center, it's a chord through the center, so that's your diameter, okay, then the midpoint of your diameter will be the center of the circle. So make a note of that. Midpoint, okay, of diameter is equal to the center of the circle. Okay, that's a really important idea. And on your formula sheet, you're given this, which is the formula, if you have the two endpoints, so that's x1, y1, and that's x2, y2, okay, right? Then to find a would be equal to x1 plus x2 over 2, the center of that line, and b would equal to y1 plus y2 over 2, and that would give you your center A and B. So the center of a diameter, okay, is equal to the center of the circle. People often miss that. Be careful of that. Right, so in this particular question, you've got the point K34, which would be somewhere there, and C -5, so you've got K34, okay, and C -5, -2, and this is a diameter of some circle. So the circle would be something like that. Now the key idea is the center of the circle, okay, is the midpoint of that line, okay. So to find the equation, we're going to need the center of the circle. So M, okay, would be equal to, if that's x1, that's y1, that's x2, that's y2. You add up the x coordinates, so it'll be -5 plus 3 divided by 2, and you add up the y coordinates, -2 plus 4 divided by 2. So therefore your midpoint, okay, let's write that out, okay, of your diameter, okay, is going to be -2/2, which is -1, and -2 plus 4, which is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the center here is the point -1, 1. So now you've got your center, but the question said find the equation, okay. So to find the equation of the circle, write down your general formula, x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is equal to r squared. You know a and b, okay, is the center, so a is -1, b is 1. So it's going to be x minus -1, which is x plus 1 squared, plus y minus 1 squared is equal to r squared, okay. And then you're going to end up, you're going to have to sub a point that lies on the circle. So we know 2 points on the circle. So you can either go use that point or that point. It doesn't make no difference as long as it lies on the circumference. I'm going to pick 3, 4, but you could have picked -5, -2. So if I sub in 3, 4, I'm going to get 3 plus 1 squared plus y, which is 4, plus 4 minus 1 squared is equal to r squared. So 4 squared is 16, so I get 25 is equal to r squared. So the equation becomes, I sub back into that, and I get x plus 1 squared plus y minus 1 squared is equal to 25. Okay, right, and then the next videos are going to be on the other link. Alright guys, I hope that made sense. Okay, thanks very much.